Unit 64. Listening, reading and speaking. Past simple tense. Okay, we have a really nice story, so let's read it. Mrs. Wilson and Mrs. Smith are sisters. Mrs. Wilson lives in a house in Duncan and Mrs. Smith lives in a block of flats in Victoria. One day Mrs. Wilson visited her sister. When her sister answered the door, Mrs. Wilson saw tears in her eyes. "What's the matter?" she asked. Mrs. Smith said, "My cat Sammy died last night and I have no place to bury him." She began to cry again. Mrs. Wilson was very sad because she knew her sister loved the cat very much. Suddenly, Mrs. Wilson said, "I can bury your cat in my garden in Duncan, and you can come and visit him sometimes." Mrs. Smith stopped crying and the two sisters had tea together and a nice visit. It was now 5 o'clock and Mrs. Wilson said it was time for her to go home. She put on her hat, coat and gloves, and Mrs. Smith put the dead Sammy into a shopping bag. Mrs. Wilson took the shopping bag and walked to the bus stop. She waited a long time for the bus, so she bought a newspaper. When the bus arrived, she got on the bus, sat down and put the shopping bag on the floor beside her feet. She then began to read the newspaper. When the bus arrived at her bus stop, she got off the bus and walked for about 2 minutes. Suddenly she remembered she left the shopping bag on the bus. Okay, I have a question. What did you understand? What is this story about? We have 2 sisters. Okay. Do they live together? No, they don't. Обърнете внимание, зададах този въпрос в сегашно време. В конкретиката на текста и това, което правим сега, мога да го кажа. Така, отнасяйки се към ситуацията, към миналото. Абсолютно може този въпрос да бъде в минало време. Did they live together? Okay. No, they didn't. Yes? Mrs. Wilson lived in Duncan and Mrs. Smith lived in a block of flats in Victoria. Yes? So, what happened there? What happened when Mrs. Smith visited her sister? Actually, her sister saw tears in her eyes. Why? Okay, because her cat was dead and she loved the cat very much. She was really sad. Можем ли да се опитаме и да се изразиме с наши думи? Да кажем това, което сме разбрали от текста. Нека да се стараем да се изразяваме вярно в прости изречения. Изключително важно е да говорим. Изключително важно е да изговаряме абсолютно всичко, което учим. Okay? So, but what did they decide there? They decided to bury. To bury? Погребвам, заравям. Okay? To bury the cat. Okay? In the garden in Duncan. Yes? So, what happened when the woman left the flat? Okay, she had the cat in a bag. Yes? Okay, she left her sister's apartment and what? Went to the bus stop. Okay, Did the bus arrive immediately? No, it didn't. She waited a long time. So what did she do? She bought a newspaper. Okay, what did she do when the bus came? When the bus arrived? She got on the bus. What else? She sat down and left the shopping bag on the floor. Okay. When the bus got to her stop, she got off the bus. Okay. Walked for about 2 minutes and remembered that the bag was still in the bus. Okay. Така, опитвам се да се изразявам наистина семпло в този контекст и да се опитваме да казваме нещо в този смисъл е наистина важно. В крайна сметка учим две основни неща. Да разбираме и да говорим. Така, текстът е изключително хубав. Иска ми се да обърнем внимание във втората част на нашия текст на глаголите за движение и как извършваме някакви действия. Okay. It was now 5 o'clock and Mrs. Wilson said it was time for her to go. Искам да помним изрази. It's time for someone to do something. It's time for her to go. Обърнете внимание, че ако действието, което ще въведа с инфинитив, ще касае мене, не е нужно да казвам it's time for me. Okay? Мога да го кажа, естествено, но мога да кажа it's time to go. Това касае мен или нас. Okay? Когато е ясно в контекст, мога да го изпусна. Но, внасяйки допълнителна яснота, it's time for someone to do something. Нека да се опитаме и да дадем едно-две изречения в този смисъл. Време е те да свършат. It's time for them to finish. Okay? It's time for them to finish. Така, обърнете внимание, че след предлози на практика след глаголи също винаги имаме object pronouns. Заради това е хубаво да упражним този израз. Той е изключително хубав. Okay? Така, нататък. She put on her hat, coat and gloves. To put on. Слагам, обличам. Още. To put something on something. Слагам нещо на нещо, върху нещо. Okay? Внимание. Put. No change. So this is the past tense. Okay? She put on her hat. Тя си сложи шапката. Coat and gloves. Okay? Gloves, ръкавици. Coat, палто. Нататък. And her sister put the dead Sammy into a shopping bag. To put something into something. Слагам нещо в нещо. Okay? Then she took the shopping bag and walked to the bus stop. Okay? Ние го казахме с went. Може. Но обърнете внимание, че използвайки глаголите за движение, съответно walk, drive, fly, не само тези. Например, swim, jump, push, run. Всички тези те ще покажат начина, по който извършвам някакво движение или някакво движение се извършва. Ако аз кажа she walked to the bus stop, аз си представям как тя е вървяла до спирката. И явно това е отнело може би 5-10 минути. Разбирате ли? Ако искам да кажа, че трябва да се кача до вторият етаж пеша, аз ще кажа I have to walk up to the second floor. Walk up to the second floor. Up, down от своя страна пък ще дават идеята нагоре, надолу, in, out, навътре, навън, в този смисъл. He walked into the room. Then she walked out again. И си представям как е направил няколко стъпки, влязал е, правил е нещо, and then he walked out. Пак се е завъртял няколко стъпки и излязъл. Обърнете внимание, че това дава една много добра идея как се случват нещата. Окей? Така и по същият начин. Окей? To drive to a place. Това означава да отида някъде с кола. Окей, moving on. Нататък. She waited a long time for the bus. To wait for. Изключително важно, глаголи и предлози. Нататък. So she bought a newspaper. When the bus arrived, she got on the bus. Точно заради това исках да се спраме тук. Окей. Get on. Качвам се. На автобус. Кон. Камила. Нещо по-високо, нещо по-голямо. Автобус. Също, както имаме тук. Самолет. Влак. Също. The public transport. Okay. Then she sat down and put the shopping bag on the floor. Yes. When the bus arrived, okay, she got off the bus. Get off. Слизам. Get on. Качвам се. Get off. Слизам. Абсолютно в този контекст от обществен транспорт. Кон, Камила, т.е. нещо, което е малко по-високо, малко по-голямо. Така, що се отнася за лека кола? Get in, get out. Окей? Така, между другото, докато говорихме преди малко, аз казах when the bus got to. Окей? Her bus stop. Когато автобусът стигна до нейната спирка. Get to. Стигам до. Окей, to, още веднъж, един предлог, който ще въвежда дестинация, там където отивам. И ако питам, where did you get to? Окей. Докъде стигна? I got to a place where, стигнах до едно място, така че, окей, караме нататък. Okay, then she walked for about 2 minutes. For, един предлог, който също ще въвежда период от време. Много важно, много важно. Първо ще говорим много за него още. Казвали сме го. Тоест, защото малко по-специално ще говорим за него, така, по отношение на the perfect tenses. Okay, and suddenly she remembered she left the shopping bag on the bus. Something is on the bus. Нещо е в автобуса on the bus. Okay, now, let's look at the questions, true, false. Okay, questions. Where does Mrs. Smith live? In a flat in Duncan, in a flat in Victoria, in a house in Duncan. The flat was in Victoria, the house was in Duncan. But Mrs. Smith left in a flat in Victoria. Number 2. Why is Mrs. Smith upset? Because her sister came to see her cat, because her cat died, because Mrs. Wilson was sad. Okay, definitely. I think you got what we had. So, because her cat died. Am I right? Because her cat died. Защото нейната котка беше умряла. Okay, number 3. What did Mrs. Wilson do? Took the cat with her on the bus, put her gloves in the shopping bag, prepared dinner for her sister. Okay, when Mrs. Wilson left, she took the cat with her on the bus. Yes? To take something with me. Нека да помним изрази. Взимам нещо със себе си. Okay? To take something with me. Okay? To a place. Някъде. Така. On the bus. Вече. В автобуса казахме. Помним изрази on the bus. Okay. Number 4. Who did Sammy live with? Mrs. Wilson, Mrs. Smith. Okay. What do you know? Okay. Can you remember? Mrs. Smith said, my cat, Sammy, died last night. Okay, so the answer is Mrs. Smith. Okay. Question 5. What time did Mrs. Wilson go home? Okay, 5. Okay, at 5. So, what time did she go home? To go home, to leave. Okay? Така, една разлика, още веднъж, между go home, come home Okay? Get back home, например. Go home означава да тръгна за вкъщи, да потегля за вкъщи. To come home, well, it means to arrive home. To come има контекста да се пребера. Okay? When did you come home? When did you arrive home? But when did you go home? When did you leave? Yes? Okay? When did you start your journey there? Okay? So, next. 6. How did Mrs. Wilson go home? Walked for 2 minutes before she caught the bus. Read the newspaper on the bus. Took a bus. Okay. Okay, well. How did Mrs. Wilson go home? Okay. So, let's have a look. So she took the shopping bag and walked to the bus stop. She waited a long time for the bus. So she bought the newspaper. When the bus arrived, she got on the bus. Okay. Sat down, put the shopping bag on the floor beside her feet. She then began to read the newspaper. When the bus arrived at her bus stop, she got off the bus and walked for about 2 minutes. Okay. So, how did Mrs. Wilson go home? Definitely she took the bus. Okay. Definitely she walked for some time before she caught the bus. Actually, she walked to the bus stop. Okay, she walked to the bus stop before she caught the bus. Така че, отговорите, които имаме, са доста логични. Но, ние не знаем дали тя е вървяла 2 минути. Definitely she walked to the bus stop before she caught the bus. She read the newspaper on the bus. But the question is, how did she go home? Well, she took the bus, I think sounds best. Okay. Number 7. What did Mrs. Wilson forget? The newspaper, the handbag, the shopping bag. Yes? Okay, the shopping bag with the cat in it. Okay, and question 8. Where did Sammy die? Okay, in Mr. Smith's house in Duncan, in Mr. Wilson's garden, well, in Victoria, of course. Yes? Why? Mrs. Smith lived in a blocks of flat in Victoria, and it was her cat. She said, Mrs. Smith, my cat, Sammy died. Yes? Okay? So, okay, well, that's it. Now, this is what we have. Така. На практика ние се опитахме да преразкажем нашия текст още в началото, но можем да опитаме още веднъж на бързичко. This is a text about two sisters. Okay? So, Mrs. Smith lived in Victoria. Okay, in a block of flats. Okay, and one day her sister visited her. Yes? But when her sister answered the door, well, she saw tears in her eyes. She asked what the matter was. Okay, and Mrs. Smith said that her cat died. Okay, had died. Had died sounds better. Беше умряла. Okay, so what else? Well, they decided to bury the cat in Duncan, where Mrs. Wilson lived, in her garden there. Yes, because Mrs. Smith was sad because she had no place to bury the cat. But when Mrs. Wilson left, okay, she took the bus but she forgot the shopping bag and the cat was in it. Yes? Okay? The cat was in the bag there. Okay, now, moving on. Така, караме нататък. Въпроси към вас. Задайте и вие ваши въпроси към другите или преподавателя. Така, вижте, изключително хубаво е да се опитваме да говорим по отношение на това, което имам, използването на минали времена. Нещо, което сме казвали, че past simple tense и по принцип всички прости времена. Искаме се наистина да имаме един акцент по отношение на това, което учим. Те не поставят тези граматични времена, simple tenses, те не поставят един акцент върху едно действие само по себе си. Тази идея, особено в миналото, стои изключително добре, когато изразяваме една поредица от действия. Така че, нека да видим какво значи това. What did you do yesterday? Yesterday, I woke up, okay, I went to the bathroom, okay, I washed my face, okay, then I made myself a cup of coffee, I drank my coffee, okay, so when I finished it, actually I went out, okay, so I came back home, well, at about 9 in the morning, okay, so then I did something else and so on. Обърнете внимание, че по този начин, говорейки по този начин, аз изброявам едни действия, една поредица от действия. I did this, I did that, then I did something else, okay, then I had my lessons, okay, when I finished my lessons, I had lunch, okay, in the afternoon, I went out again, and so on. Okay. Така, number 2. Where did you go last weekend? I can say that I didn't go anywhere. Or I went nowhere. Okay, I stayed at home all the weekend. What about you? Okay, who did you meet? I met no one. Or I didn't meet anyone. Обърнете внимание, нарочно говорим по този начин, да дадем малко по-различна идея на отрицанието, които имате. Опитайте си вие пък от своя страна да дадете положителните отговори. Okay, I met no one. Or I didn't meet anyone. Всичко, което сме казвали по отношение на отрицанията. Едно отрицание в едно изречение. Така че I met no one. No one е думата, която ще носи отрицание. Съответно met in the past tense. Но използвам ли отрицание при didn't? Трябва да бъде meet. I didn't meet anyone. Okay? So 4. What did you have for breakfast yesterday? Okay? I didn't have breakfast yesterday morning. What about you? Okay? Oh, I had no breakfast yesterday morning. Okay, question 5. How did you feel at your last birthday? Well, I felt great. What about you? Okay. I had a great time with my friends and my family. Okay, what about number 6 there? Where did you spend your last holiday? Well, where did you... Okay, did you go to the mountain? I went to the mountain and I spent there about a week. What about you? 7. What was the last film you saw? Did you like it? Okay. So, така, внимание още веднъж, нещо, което сме казвали по отношение на разликата между see, watch. Точно в контекста гледам филми, така. Ако изразявам процеса на гледане, what are you doing? I am watching a film. Okay? I love watching TV. The process of doing this. Okay? Така, но по-скоро, когато искам да изрази идеята, искам да гледам, гледал съм. Okay? Гледали. Нали, в този контекст. Без акцент върху самото протичане на действие. See sounds better. Okay? Така, see звучи една идея по-добре. So, What was the last film you saw? Кой е последният филм, който гледате? Как да учим точно този тип изрази? Наизуст. Старайте се да помните изрази. Okay. Have you seen that film? Например, гледал ли си този филм? Okay. You can answer this question. Number 8. How did you celebrate last Christmas? I celebrated with my family at home. What about you? 9. What present did you buy? Okay. Can you answer? Or what presents did the other members of your family buy for you? Okay. So, and number 10. What was the most difficult English online lesson last month? Okay. This is a question for you. Now, let's go. Okay. This is our next exercise. Actually, we have dialogue, and we have to answer a few questions like to have a really good dialogue there. Okay, we start like, how are you? So, what will you answer? Okay, I'm fine, thanks. Okay. Oh, I don't feel very well right now. Okay. So, did you have a good weekend? Yes, I did. Okay. I actually went to the park and I stayed there for about, well, let's say more than an hour. Okay, I walked my dog there and I saw a friend. We had a nice conversation and so on. Did you enjoy it? Yes, I did. Okay, we had a great time. Yes. Опитайте се наистина да давате различни отговори в различен контекст и ситуация. Okay? Например, did you have a good weekend? Yes, I did. I went to the cinema and I saw a great film. Нека да упражним това, което казахме за see. Did you enjoy it? Yeah, did you enjoy it? Yes, I did. Okay, it was da-da-da-da. Okay, who were you with? Okay, I was with my family. I was with my friend. Or I was with no one. Okay, I was alone. I was on my own. I was by myself. Изрази, които можем да използваме сам. Така, нататък. What did you do after that? Well, I came back home and I had some rest. That sounds interesting. Well, it doesn't sound interesting. What about your weekend? Okay. So what does A answer here? Well, I stayed at home all the weekend. Sorry to hear that. I hope everything is all right now. It wasn't too bad. Shall we have lunch together tomorrow again? Okay. What shall we say? Sounds great. Okay. Yes, we can meet together. Okay, we can meet tomorrow at lunchtime. We can meet at lunchtime. Okay. Okay, we have a text, a really good one. So let's read it. Listen to me. J.K. Rowling is the author of the books about Harry Potter played by Daniel Radcliffe in the films. At university, J.K. studied French and the classics. Her first husband was Portuguese, but unfortunately the marriage was not a success. After she was very sad and cried a lot. She was unemployed and poor. She prepared the first Harry Potter book in the Nicholson Cafe in Edinburgh. Then J.K. tried to find a publisher. She offered the first book to 12 publishers in England, but they didn't like it. Fortunately, a little girl called Alice enjoyed reading the first chapter. She is the daughter of a publisher, and he agreed to publish the book. 6 more months followed, and the films, of course. Now J.K. isn't sad or worried about money. In fact, her life is more magic than Harry Potter's. Okay, choose the correct answer. J.K. Rowling is a teacher, a writer, a poet. I think you can really find the right answer. A writer, yes. Okay, she's the author of the books about Harry Potter. It was for J.K. Rowling to find the publisher. It was very easy, very difficult. Not impossible, because it happened. Yes? It was very difficult. Why? Because firstly, she, what? What did she do? She offered the first book to 12 publishers in England, but they didn't like it. So it was very difficult. Okay, question 3. One publisher agreed to publish the first book because he thought the story was great. She offered him a lot of money. The publisher's daughter liked the book. I think you got this. Okay. Fortunately, a little girl, yes, called Alice enjoyed reading the first chapter. Chapter? Глава на книга. Okay, she's the daughter of a publisher there, and he agreed to publish the book. To agree to do something, да се съгласи да направи нещо. Okay. Next question. Before publishing Harry Potter, the author of the books was an ordinary woman who was poor, a famous writer, a rich lawyer. Definitely, she was an ordinary woman who was poor. Why? Okay. Her first marriage wasn't a success. Okay. Well, her first husband was Portuguese, and they divorced. Okay, she was very sad. Okay, she was unemployed and poor. Yes. And question 5. Okay, question 5. Harry Potter consists of, се състои от, състоя се от. It consists of one book. Definitely it's not one, and it's not 20. So the answer is 7 books. Okay, that's it.